I have a confession to make. I used to think that there was a specific acting technique that I should be using in order to be my best. As if all the A-list award-winning actors were keeping this secret just to themselves. After all, I was always hearing other actors brag about their intense Meisner training or that they were method actors, and I would think, gosh, well, maybe I'm supposed to be doing that too. In case you're like me, let's just dump that idea now. Don't be bullied into second guessing the methods that work for you. Hi, I'm Nancy Nave. I've been a working actor for 16 years in the film and television industry, and I'm a career coach for actors. I teach actors how to streamline the process so you can jump right into the audition process as soon as possible. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you'd like more content on being a working actor in the film and television industry. Some actors like to talk about their favorite acting techniques, especially after they've just discovered it. For a long time, I thought I was supposed to pick one technique and stick with it, as if using different techniques was a weaker choice. As if all the great actors only used Meisner, Strasberg, or Stanislavski. That's the farthest from the truth. Story time. A while back, while I was sitting in a coffee house, I overheard two actors who were in a heated discussion over which technique was the best one. They each made great points about the strength of each technique, and they were each convinced that they were right. And they weren't being quiet about it, so it was easy just to sit there and listen. What they failed to realize is that one technique is not necessarily better than another. By the way, as actors, part of our job is to observe people. You can learn a lot about body language, posture, facial expressions, voice inflections, and then you might decide to use those behaviors later for character choices. Anyway, back to the technique bullies. If you've never gone to acting school or you've never heard of techniques beyond whatever it is that you do for yourself right now, that's okay. Here's the truth. The best technique to use is the one that works for you right now. Yes, it's good to know other techniques versus leaning on the same one for every scene and character. You might find that a particular scene becomes difficult if you only have one technique. The objective of every technique is to help the actor go deeper into character, into their environment, into their emotions, into their past. Actors might dive into their own memories, which can help sometimes, but might be traumatic to relive or actually distract the actor from connecting to the events in the scene versus what happened in their memory. And don't feel like you need to justify any technique that you use. It's your process. It's really kind of silly. You're never going to shout out to the world that in this scene you were using Chekhov technique or animal work. It's not something we ever need to discuss in a scene because an actor's technique and strategy for a scene is internal and personal. We talk about these techniques in acting class to help us learn how to connect to characters in a particular situation. But once you're on set, you just go to work. The director is not going to ask you, what technique are you using? And if you tell the director what you're using, it's not helpful or relevant information to them. So don't be pressured into using Meisner or whatever your buddy is trying to sell you on. It's good to try different techniques because you never know which one might work great for the current scene you're working on. But being loyal to one technique betrays the art of acting. Techniques are merely tools in your toolbox to use when you're acting, and one technique might work in one scene and a different technique might work in another. Eventually, mixing and matching all the techniques becomes your own technique. So if you've never heard of Chekhov or Stanislavski or Meisner or any of the other techniques, and you're doing great, that's what it's all about. Remember, the best technique to use is the one that works for you right now. And if you feel like you're struggling to connect to your scenes or your characters and you're not sure what you're doing wrong, get into an acting class. Get an acting coach. Acting is fun, but it's a lot harder than it looks. Yes, there are some actors who are naturals and are amazing. And if you're like me, I love acting class for exploration, practice, feedback, community, networking, friendships, growth, and of course, fun. The best way to become a great actor is to be acting every day, working on new material, memorizing lines, trying new characters, trying new genres, new voices or a new walk, a new accent, a new belief system. That will make you better than just learning one technique. Don't worry about which techniques you know or don't know. You're not less than because you don't know Meisner or Go method. And if you want to know what those techniques are, look for an acting class that teaches them specifically or touches on all of them. This is an art, so practice your art. There's hundreds of ways to say the same line. Have fun with your art and keep creating. Have a great day and break a leg.